Okay, going back to independent and dependent clauses. I put part one into your assignment already, so here is part two. So you need to make sure that you're watching them in order. Okay, so just to review what part one was about, we talked about when a dependent clause comes first and we have to separate it by a comma. When the independent clause comes first, then there's no reason for a comma. So the independent clause can stand alone by itself as a sentence. The dependent clause cannot. So look at these examples. The mouse ran as soon as he saw the cat. The mouse ran. That can be a complete sentence on its own because we have the subject and we have the verb. If all I said was as soon as he saw the cat, that's leaving out something. That's going to make you wonder, well, what actually happened? It doesn't give you enough information. But because it comes first, the mouse ran, we don't have to have a comma. School was canceled for the day since there was bad weather. School was canceled for the day. That would be the independent clause. You could even just say school was canceled, and that could be a sentence by itself. We will always be friends now that you're my neighbor. We will always be friends. But if I just said, now that you're my neighbor, it would make you wonder, well, what about it? What now that I'm your neighbor, what's going to happen? Number 4, my dog won't come inside unless he hears his food. My dog won't come inside. The moon was bright before the clouds covered it. The moon was bright. So the independent clause is at the beginning of the sentence. So whenever the independent clause comes first, we do not need a comma. When the dependent clause comes first, we do. Okay? So I'm just going to show you the answer key, because if you ever wanted to just come back and use this part of the video as the example, then you could just look at this part right here. So the independent clause is underlined and the dependent clause is circled. So again, if the dependent clause comes first, we have to use a comma. If the independent clause comes first, then we do not. Okay? But the biggest thing to remember, dependent clause means that it is dependent on another part of the sentence. It cannot be there by itself. If it's independent, that means that it can be a sentence by itself without help from another part of the sentence. Okay? Good luck with your assignment.